Hello, everyone, and welcome to your discount benefit program, LegalShield and IDShield for DU employees. As you can see on the title page here, we do have a customized website specifically for employees at DU. So if you go to shieldbenefits.com/DU, it has more information, detailed information, and also you can enroll there. Now, this is eligible for employees, part-time employees, student employees, families of employees can also take advantage of the discount program. My name is Cheryl Garcia, and I am your legal and identity theft benefits specialist. At the end, I have my email and my phone number. So my number, if you want to jot it down right now, is 720-371-1736. 720-371-1736. So today what we want to do is we want to go through, well, who is LegalShield? What are the different types of identity theft? What is your identity theft program? How about your LegalShield program? And then how to enroll. So thank you all for being on the webinar today. So first, let's talk about who is LegalShield. Well, LegalShield, we just celebrated this year 50 years of being in business. Mr. Stonecipher, who you see there, was our founder. He lived in Ada, Oklahoma. So I don't know if anybody's ever been there. Spelled the same way going in, or backwards, forwards. And he was a teacher during the day. And in the evening, he sold life insurance. He was coming home one night and a woman ran a stop sign in Ada, Oklahoma, and you can see it totaled out his car. He ended up in the hospital. Well, 2 weeks after he got out of the hospital, the woman that caused the accident got the ticket, tried to sue him. And he thought, I had car insurance for my car. I had health insurance when I was in the hospital. I had life insurance if something would happen to me. Why don't I have some kind of legal program or legal insurance to help me with this event? And that's how LegalShield got started 50 years ago. Now, IDShield, after LegalShield got started, several companies kept coming to Mr. Stonecipher saying, we want to partner with LegalShield because 70% of identity theft requires access to an attorney. And so it just made sense that we brought those two together. So we started IDShield in 2003. And since then, we have won so many awards for our IDShield program because it's monitoring, it's restoration, you're working with a private license investigator. And now we've went beyond that core of identity theft into personal cybersecurity. And I'll be going over that with you. So IDShield, what makes us different is two things, really. Number one is having access to an attorney when you bundle those together. And two is that you actually work with a private license investigator if you become a victim of identity theft. Other services, they have consulting, they have advisors, but not private license investigators like we have. Now, let's talk about identity theft and what's happening out there. Usually if I have participation, it's like, is this getting better or worse? Right? It's getting worse more and more with identity theft. I live in the city of Wheat Ridge, and at the end of last month, the city was held for a ransomware. It shut the city down. Well, they're still trying to recover right now. So that was data from employees. That was data for people that live, the residents, if you use any of their services. They didn't pay the ransomware, but they're rebuilding all of their systems. And where is my information? It's out there, right? Data breaches are happening all the time. So a lot of times when people think of identity theft, the first thing they think of is financial. I even talked to a financial planner this morning, and he said, well, I have my Social Security number frozen. I said, great. That's good for 17% of identity theft, which is financial. But out of all of these, the fastest growing identity theft right now is medical identity theft. Now, in 2020 and 2021, the fastest growing identity theft was your social security number because there was so much unemployment insurance fraud that was going on. And that really came, some of it came from the Equifax data breach, which was in 2017. 52% of Americans had your information compromised in 2017 with Equifax. So what made that unique is of course, it's a credit repository, right? It's a credit bureau. So it has your name, it has your date of birth, it has your address, it has your spouse's information. But what made it unique was it also had your driver's license number. And you would think, well, who would want to use my driver's license? Well, people will use your driver's license and commit a crime in your name, or be arrested in your name. So character and criminal is somebody commits a crime in your name. They could use your social security number. They could use your driver's license. I had an employee. She was a physical therapist, and she went to go do her continuing ed credits, and to recertify to be a physical therapist. And they said, you know what? You can't get recertified because there is felony charges against you for crimes that you committed, prostitution and drugs. And, whenever something happens to us, we go, hey, that's not me. She's like, hey, that's not me. Well, she had lost her wallet 3 months prior to that. So somebody used her information, created a new driver's license with their picture, but her information for that. And then the unemployment, the what's happening with your social security number. Many employees had a situation where they had the unemployment fraudulent claims. Now, the state of Colorado said, hey, here's the 3 things that you need to do. But our consultants, and that's part of your program, our consultants say, well, there's a couple more things that you might want to do. And medical, why would somebody want your medical insurance? Well, they may not have medical insurance, or they can use it because they have a drug habit, or maybe they want to sell your medical. Your medical card is the most valuable thing that you have in your purse or your wallet because it's worth millions of dollars. There was Joe Ryan. He was up in the Aspen area. He owned a small business, and he called in. He had an airplane business, transporting people. He called in to get a part for his airplane. And of course, he was in a hurry. And the person said, what's your model number of your airplane? What's your social security number? What year is your airplane? What's your date of birth? So Joe Ryan was giving all this information to this person who is taking his order, who then became Joe Ryan. And he went to Centura Hospital, racked up a $5,000 medical bill, and then he died. So the real Joe Ryan had to prove it wasn't him, because you're always guilty. Then you have to prove it's not you in that situation. And that took him over 2 years. He almost lost his business in that situation. And then children are the fastest growing as far as an age group. Because, who monitors their social security number? Now, if you have young children, I would recommend that you put a freeze on their social security number. It doesn't cost anything to do that. If you have a child that's maybe 15, 16, working, getting a car, going to college, you might want to unfreeze it at that time. So there's no charge to freeze it or unfreeze it. But if you have small children, I would do that because, again, everything that we want to do is going to reduce our risk of becoming a victim of identity theft. Now, one thing that we have no control over is data breaches. And you can see that this report, which was done in the end of 2021, that it was up 68% data breaches. So we can just add on the city of Wheat Ridge onto that with their information. And, we don't hear a lot about the small businesses that have a data breach, because small businesses, they are low hanging fruit for these thieves because they don't have the services, they don't have the systems put in place. And the biggest thing, now I've heard there's 3 municipalities now that are going through that ransomware for that. Now let's look at how much is your information worth. Sometimes people say, "Oh, I don't want anybody to get my social security number." And you really don't, because it's a hassle for them, for you to fix it. But your social security number is worth $2. Now, is it going to cost you more than $2 to fix it? Is it going to cost you more than $2 to go through this hassle? They may use it for work. They could use it to get your taxes. Again, that ties back to the UI fraud claims. And then you look at what's the highest, $240, right? $240, which is a credit card if you have an account balance of $5,000. So what happens in the dark web is that they're selling your information over and over and over again. But you don't even know that this is happening unless maybe you're refinancing. That usually pops up, or if you do have IDShield. So this is the core part for the identity theft, is monitoring, consultation, and restoration. So on the monitoring, we're going to monitor 108 different data points. So it even has like gaming tags. If you're a gamer or you have kids that are gamers, it's going to be a comprehensive monitoring system, because we want to be proactive, not reactive, right? So we want to let you know. So as an example on the screen is what's called the push out notification on your app. So you can see right here, you do get your monthly credit score. That's a tracker through TransUnion. And then if something happens, the next one's not monthly, it's 24/7. That if something is happening, you'll receive an alert like, "Oh, did you have a change of address? Oh, did you sign up for this credit card? Oh, did you get this medical bill in Chicago? Oh, did you know you're part of the dark web?" Which I got about 2 weeks ago. I got a push out notification. Your information's on the dark web. And then what I did next is I called my consultant through IDShield, and I said, "I got this push out notification." And she said, "Do you have a Comcast email?" And I said, "Well, I do, but I haven't used it in years." And she said, "Well, you need to deactivate it because it was part of a data breach." And so how would I have known that if I didn't have the monitoring going on? So the consultation is going to help you figure out, maybe you have something on your credit report that shouldn't be there, and your credit score is lower than it should be. Well, that's affecting your pocketbook. It's affecting your insurance rates, your car insurance rate. It's affecting your interest rate on your home, your interest rate on your credit cards. So if there is something on your credit report that shouldn't be there, let's get that fixed. And again, if you were part of that UI fraud situation, which I know, hey, it was 2020, it was 2021, it's all taken care of. Well, is it? I don't know. Call your consultant and talk to them about that. There may be other things that they're going to recommend for you to do, or they could check out things for you. Now, if you become a victim of identity theft, or if you've ever been a victim of identity theft, and that's what's great about the employer program, is it's pre-existing. So if you had identity theft in the past, you're covered on the comprehensive restoration. Well, what does that mean? That means that you're going to have a private licensed investigator that's going to go to work on your behalf to do whatever they need to do to get you to pre-theft status. And that is worth $1,700 if you did not have this service to get that started. to work with a private licensed investigator. Now, you see there's a $1 million protection policy. Well, what does that mean? That means that if you become a victim of identity theft and you have some out-of-pocket expenses, let's say you have to travel, childcare, you have to hire an attorney outside of your LegalShield, what's covered, maybe there's more extensive things that go on there, elder care. Those types of things will be covered under the $1 million protection policy. And then you have an app that I showed you, this is the app with the 24/7 emergency access. So, you're at the soccer game and Saturday morning, you left your wallet in the console of your car and somebody punches out the window and takes your wallet. But guess what? You have your phone with you. So now you have 24/7. Call the private licensed investigators and find out, what do I need to do? What's my next steps to help you with that situation? So you always have that member support there for you. Let's also think about every day we are creating and building our digital footprint. So, did you do these things today? Did you log on to Facebook, LinkedIn, all these different apps that we have? We're just creating a bigger digital footprint. So what are you doing about your reputation? If somebody is going to look at taking a class from you, or you're working at DU. I used to work in the community college system for 16 years. And of course, there wasn't as much social media during that time, but people are checking us out. They're checking us out for, you work at the college, you work at the university, what's your ratings? What do you have on your LinkedIn profile? What do you have on your Facebook? Are there things on there that maybe, hey, I don't want that on there anymore? And that's what the privacy and reputation management does. And that's part of your ID Shield, is that you have that. So it goes through, when you first set it up, it's going to go through your social media accounts, and it's going to say, do you want this post? Do you want these pictures? When I first set mine up, I had 51 pictures that came up and said, do you want this post? I was like, no, that was a Halloween party that I was at, and that was years ago. No, I don't want that to be showing on my Facebook account anymore. Then another picture came up, and it was under violence. And it was actually another Halloween party that I went to, and somebody had a complete mask on. No, I don't need that. I don't need that picture on my, my Facebook account either. So it's going through and looking at that for you. Because our reputation is so important. Even if you're going to be looking at buying a house, people will go check you out. A real estate professional may check you out and say, hey, is this going to be a good buyer or a party buyer, or whatever that they're doing, to look at that. So that it's so important when we're in higher ed that we have a great reputation, and that's what it's going to help you do. Now, this now goes into the cyber protection for you. So Trend Micro is the company that we have partnered with, and that's going to provide you with a password manager. So no more sticky notes, no more index cards, no more little notebooks. My mom has this little notebook with all her passwords in it, because now you have a password manager. So with ID Shield, we have an individual plan and we have a family plan. So with the individual plan, you have one password manager. With the family plan, you get 6. And then the Trend Micro Maximum Security is going to be wrapping around your devices, and that's the security to help you with that. And so if you're individual, you get 3 devices. If you are a family, you get 15 devices. I've had employees put this on their smart TV. Because if you think about it, there's so much information going from you to your TV. The streaming services, it's got your name, your email, your credit card information. And so it can help protect that. Now, if you like to go down to the coffee shop or down to the area where you have public Wi-Fi, I was at the Denver Commons last week doing a workshop for Denver startup about security. And, they have a public Wi-Fi there. Well, there are people at these locations, their job is to get in and get your information. And so a VPN, a virtual private network, is building that security around those public Wi-Fis for you. And that's included. So again, if you're an individual, 3. If you're a family, you get 15 devices that you can put that on. So who's covered? We talked about that. Individual. We have the family plan, which covers you as the employee, your spouse, significant other, domestic partner, children up to the age of 26 if they're a full-time college student or living at home, never married. That's the family plan. And then we have a dual. If you bundle these two together, you also get credit counseling and education. So if you do have some of those young adults from 18 to 26, they're also included in this education program that you may want to get more information about budgeting, financial budgeting, credit reports, mortgage risks, creating a budget, spending habits. You can use all of that with the IDShield and the LegalShield dual plan on the credit counseling and education. So now let's talk about the legal plan. We just have one legal plan, and that's $21.95 per month. And so you have unlimited telephone consultation. I really like to call this more of a life events plan. So you call the law firm, or what's new is this app over here. So it depends if you like, I'm old school, so I'd rather pick up the phone, call a 1-800 number and get connected to the law firm, or you can use the app. And on the app, you can go through and fill that out, and an attorney will call you back within 4 hours, whether you call in or use the app for that. And so, it's everyday life events. Maybe you're going to sign a contract for a contractor to put a deck on the back of your house. Or maybe that contractor didn't finish the job, but they want you to pay more money. At a dealership that I was doing an enrollment last month, one of the employees said, I'm so glad I had LegalShield because I had paid this contractor 50%. And then he didn't do 50% of the job. But he came back and said he wanted the rest of the money. And he said, I'm not going to pay you any more money until you finish half of it. And the contractor said, well, I'm going to put a lien on your house. And, if you don't have access to a law firm, what would you do in that situation? Well, what he did is he picked up the phone, he called the law firm, and our law firm is Riggs Abney, Neal Turpin, Orbison, and Lewis, Riggs Abney for short. We have 35 attorneys on staff. This is our law firm. So the law firm then wrote a letter to that contractor, and that lien never happened. It went away. Unfortunately, never got 50% of the job done, but he didn't get a lien put on his house. So you can call and talk to the attorneys about any kind of life event. Maybe your neighbor's dog is barking. Maybe you went to a dog park and your dog bit somebody. I had that happen with a financial planner, in which the other person said, I'm going to sue you, which would not be good for his livelihood as a financial planner. Or think about, again, your reputation. Maybe people put something online and it's not about you. What are your rights in that situation? Maybe you get a traffic ticket. Maybe you have, you drive like a teenager, or you have a teenager that's driving on the speeding tickets. You call and talk to the attorney, and they then decide the next step, maybe a letter, maybe a phone call, just like the employee with the contractor. We also had an employee that had a bundled package where it was the phone, the internet, the TV. Well, over a 6-month period of time, she'd been overcharged $500. So she tried calling, never got a hold of anybody. So, it would go, do 1, do 2, do 3. She never talked to a person. So she called her attorney. The attorney wrote a letter on her behalf. She got her $500. Now, if you're looking at signing a contract, like I talked about with that, the contractor, maybe you're getting married. Maybe one of your children are getting married, because remember, up to 26, never married, full-time college student, or living at home. and they're going to be signing contracts, or maybe you're signing contracts as a parent because you're paying for the venue. Have that contract reviewed. Or how about if you're buying a car, selling a car? We had an employee who was good. He was a young employee who was buying his first truck. And he said to the dealership, I got to send this in and have my attorney review it. And they were like, yeah, right. So, he sent it in. It does take 3 days they have up to 3 days to review your contract. And so two things happened in that with the dealership. Number one is they were going to charge him a $300 prep fee, which was basically a car wash. So the attorney said, cross that off. And then the other thing is the interest rate increased every year. And you can't do that. It's against the law. But how do we know that? It's like this small print. And sometimes we act like we're an attorney. We're, going like this, right? So he went back to the dealership and he said, my attorney said, I'm not paying $300 for this car wash, cross it off. And you can't change my interest rate. And they go, oh, is that still on that contract? Well, we'll give you 0% interest rate. It just changes the dynamics of the situation when you have access to a law firm. So it's really a decision-making tool for you and your family. My favorite part is estate planning. When was the last time that you updated your will? So a will, a living will, healthcare power of attorney, and financial power of attorney are all included in your estate planning. So if you have a spouse, significant other, or domestic partner, you each need to have your own will package. Okay, let's say you have an 18-year-old and they need a living will, because once they're 18, it doesn't matter what mom and dad say, they're an adult. So they can have a living will done through the service. It's all included at no additional cost. Now that will package for each of you is worth $750 per person. So we've just saved you $1,500. If that's the only thing you do, we just need to check that off our adult to-do list. A lot of times we don't know who to call, how much is it going to cost? And so now LegalShield has made it easy and affordable for you to get your estate planning done for that. The family domestic services, that's the only area that has a 90-day waiting period. Everything else goes into effect the day that you enroll. Because it's a discount program, you can enroll right now. You can enroll today. So that uncontested in that category means that both parties agree on the divorce, on the separation, on the name change, on the child adoption. So that's the only part that has a waiting period. Now, if you get a traffic ticket today and you sign up today, you'll be covered on this next part, which means that you have access to an attorney that's going to help you. Our goal is to get your points reduced. 3 points or more can increase your insurance rates by 30%. I was driving up by Northland. I thought the speed limit was 65. I was going 72 in a 55. And I got 6 points. So all I could think about were my insurance rates going up. So with the app, you take a picture of the ticket, it sends it off to the law firm. The attorney calls you back and says, okay, in my situation, we need to go to court. So we go to court together. I don't have to pay for my attorney because it's part of my program. And she got I could have signed the back of the ticket. I still had 4 points. She got it down to 2 points with it. I still had to pay for my fine, but at least I knew what my rights were. And she helped me get it down to 2 points, which was my goal under that 3 points, 30%, right? I don't want my insurance rates going up. Then we have the 25% member discount. Probably about 15% of life events fall into that. Let's say that that uncontested divorce becomes contested. You're not agreeing on everything. That would go into the 25% member discount. Or maybe you have a child custody situation where you need to go to court. That goes into the 25% member discount. So the good news is you always call your law firm first and find out what are your rights, what are your next steps in this life event situation. Who's covered? You're covered, same thing as IDShield, your spouse, significant other, domestic partner, children up to the age of 26, living at home, or a full-time college student, never married, or if you have any physically or challenged children, they're also covered. There's no age limit at that. Now, we do have a supplement over here on the left-hand side that the HR department wanted to add on for you, and that's a home business supplement. So let's say maybe you do some consulting, you have a rental property, maybe your spouse does stuff on Etsy, or you have some revenue coming into your household, which is business related. And that's why you would want to get the home business supplement. We do find that people that have rental property use that a lot because those laws change all the time. So what's in the middle is the legal plan for you, the personal legal plan. Then you add on the home-based business supplement for your business. All right, so we're going to save you some money too. Member perks. You have this is whether you get just LegalShield, IDShield, you get it together. You have 450 companies with discounts. Yesterday I was at a company and they were all talking about their dogs. And I go, well, do you guys have pet insurance here? And they go, no. And I said, well, through Member Perks, there's 5 different companies that have pet insurance at discounts, at an employer discount. I saved $20 on my cell phone every year, or not every year, every month on my cell phone. There's rental. I've rented a car, saved 30%, hotels, 30%. If you like any of those food programs, come to your house. I had an employee that saved $300 on tires. It's anything you can think about is covered there for Member Perks for that. So because it's what we call a discount program, it is not through your payroll. So you pay through a checking account or a credit card, and you can go right online, shieldbenefits.com/DU, and you can do family IDShield, individual IDShield, or the legal plan, or you can bundle those together. When you do the family plan, you do get another discount on the IDShield. So it goes from $22.95 to $19.95 on the family plan or the individual. And then remember, the home business supplement is added on to the legal plan. So if you just wanted the legal plan and the home-based business supplement, it would be $21.95 plus $14.95 for that added together. And all this information is on your website. So to enroll, you can go right to your website. Because it's a discount program, you can enroll at any time. You can sign up now. So if you do have any other questions, here's my contact information. And probably the best thing is either a text or an email to me. I would recommend that you go to the website. It does have more details. And I would like to thank you for being on the webinar today and learning about how to wrap a wall of protection around you and your family. Thank you.